This is the Volkswagen Red and Gold Report from KPIX and CBS News Bay Area.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Levi's Stadium, and this is the Red and Gold Streaming Edition. I'm your Uncle Vern, and alongside is Charlie Walter. Charlie, you have the locker room today. This is Media Day. I have the auditorium, and first of all, the news out of the day was Charles Omenihu. And Kyle Shanahan, he just came out and addressed it right away. He said, boom, if he's healthy, he'll play. I know he's going through all the legal issues on what happened on Monday with the charges of suspicion of domestic abuse, but Shanahan said, you know, we're going to monitor the legal process, but hey, he's practicing today, he's limited today, but if he's healthy, he's going to play Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And it's the first wrinkle that it feels like has been thrown inside the locker room. I guess the better word than wrinkle is turmoil. This is a team that's won 12 in a row, dating back to Kyle Shanahan's, and the lip reading from Jimmy Garoppolo, all your plays suck, man. Since that, has there been any issues? No, there really hasn't. It's a team that's dominated. It's a locker room that's been very happy, very friendly with the media, and they went about their business today. One of the big questions is the third time the charm for Kyle Shanahan. They've won the NFC Championship game, lost in the Super Bowl, lost in the NFC Championship game last year, and this time they're going for all the marbles.
I could just go back to, my rookie year making the Super Bowl and you still have that bad taste in your mouth. And as you go back to last year, we're a couple of plays to making the Super Bowl again. And you just kind of like, dang, like, what is it really going to take for us to get there? We just have to minimize the mistakes and everybody have to be on their assignment for us to be where we want to be at the end of the year.
When you lose big games, those are hard, real hard, however they happen. And you got to deal with that forever. But I feel like that's what kind of hardens you to it and makes you get back to the reality of what it really is. It's the reality of it is it's a really good football game that I loved watching growing up. It's probably my favorite thing to do in the world, and I feel very blessed that I get to be somewhat a part of it.
We know this is the year to get it done. We have the talent, we have the coaches, we have the guys that want it, that want to get it more than anything. So that's what you got. That's what you need, and that's what we got.
This team rises to the occasion of each next step that we take, and I'm really confident in this squad.
Not only have they risen to the occasion, sorry to steal it here,
right
but they say good teams win, great teams cover. This is a team that's won 9 of the last 10. They've beaten teams handily. The Cowboys did play them tough, though, another NFC East team.
May I address my insecurities on this matchup? Okay, yeah, I get it. Niners having a great year, but boy, they're facing an unknown opponent and a hostile environment that's going to be even maybe more gritty than the Cowboy game was. And so that said, and chasing around a mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts, I can't go all in on the Scarlet and Gold.
Yeah, my big question mark right now is how does this team get pressure, but at the same time spy Jalen Hurts? I know the shoulder is a little bit of an issue, but he did rush it 9 times against the Giants, so he's not afraid to take off. And we saw it with Dak Prescott in 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6 situations. When the Niners bring pressure off these stunts, sometimes the middle of the field's open, and that's where Jalen Hurts can kill you for 15 easily.
There have been 7 games in this season where Jalen Hurts had 15 or more rushes, and that includes scrambles, extending plays, and then plays. And so it's really up on the defense to kind of maybe put a spy on him. I don't know. But for more perspective, this is a great thing about this stream. We got the producers coming in. That is Brian Day,
the knowledge,
and Justin Williams, the guys who really kind of make the engine go. What do you say, gentlemen?
Yeah, thanks, Vern. Without you here this week, a little more elbow room on the set.
Oh, for sure.
Let me and Justin cook.
We need man space.
Yeah, we were a little too close last week. That was some of the feedback from our East Coast viewers. All right, so Justin and I will get right into it here. You got to start with the quarterback, Brock Purdy. Last week faced his toughest test. Didn't throw any touchdowns. Also, no turnovers. I'd say he passed. What are you expecting to see from him this Sunday against an even better defense?
He did exactly what he needed to do, and he needs to do the same thing again this week. Most important stat that you gave me, no interceptions. He got away with a few in the first half, just like he did in the Seattle game. great throws to extend drives. You think about that catch that George Kittle made that set up the touchdown drive later in the game. Christian McCaffrey runs that in. Purdy easily could have scored a touchdown on that opportunity, but still 215 yards throughout the game. No mistakes, really. He didn't pay for any of his mistakes. Now, I think the Eagles, they've got just as good of a secondary, just as good of a defense as the Cowboys do. So he's got to bring second half Purdy energy from the get-go at Lincoln Memorial Stadium.
And they've got the even better pass rush with 75 sacks during the regular season. So the heat's going to be on Purdy. But, of course, with the Niners, we know it all starts with the run game.
Run the dang ball.
Yeah.
I don't think we can curse on this stream.
No, this is the same restrictions apply here. You know, Kyle always talks about trying to hit 40 as the magic number. Didn't quite get there against Dallas last week. But in the second half, you saw them wear the Cowboys down, 21 carries. I think they were a little over 80 yards in the second half. McCaffrey, Mitchell, two-headed monster. Do you think they'll be able to establish that run game in Philly?
It's going to be tough. The Eagles know what's coming. I mean, they know that they're not going to send Purdy out there to throw the ball 45 times down the field. They know that they're going to utilize Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Deebo Samuel as some great running backs. But they've just got to stick to the run, and they've got to find a rhythm early. There was a problem there in the first half. That's why the game was so close for 3 quarters. If the 49ers can find the run game rhythm that they found in the second half from the jump, then I think that the 49ers can run away with this, play the game that they want to play. The main thing with running the football for this game is time of possession. You look at those last 2 drives that the 49ers had in the fourth quarter against Dallas. I think there was the touchdown drive was about an 8-9 minute drive. The second one after that was another 8-9 minute drive. They just dominated ball control. And when you've got an explosive offense like Philly on the other sideline, best thing you can do is keep the ball out of their hands.
Yeah, now our third topic is George Kittle, but I'm gonna mix it up a little bit as we see some video of Kittle making plays. Because in the passing game, it always seems to be somebody different that steps up as the key guy. So I'm going to frame it to you that way. Who's your pick to be the key guy in the passing game this Sunday against Philly, the league's best-ranked pass defense?
Well, we do have the video of George Kittle, and I think that's a safe bet because that has been Brock Purdy's favorite target through his first 8-9 games as an NFL starter with the 49ers. However, I would not be surprised to see Deebo Samuel get more involved in this game. Kind of a quiet game from him against Dallas. Now, they tried to go to him early, but every time he got the ball, it seemed like there was 4 or 5 Dallas defenders ready to pick him up and throw him to the ground. The Eagles are going to be just as physical with Deebo, but, I mean, he steps up in big games. That's just his approach. It seems like every time there's a primetime game or when he plays the Rams, he just goes off, and I would not be surprised to see the same in Philly in the NFC Championship.
All right, I'm going to do a little producing from the set here, Max, our director. Roll with me here. I'm going to hit the tees myself. Just getting started on the bonus edition of the Red and Gold Report. Straight ahead, we just hit home on the offense. How about a little love for the defense? We'll go back to Vern and Charlie and preview what the Niners have in store for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles after the break. Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are back in the NFC title game for the 3rd time in 4 years. We know George Kittle will be ready for the city of brotherly love. San Francisco heads to Philly as underdog for only the 3rd time this season.
It's going to be wonderful. I know how much the fans love their opposing team and all the fans, so it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be cold and violent, and it's going to be a blast.
Heavyweight fight right here. Tyson versus Holyfield. Hey, man, so get ready, man. It's going to be a good show.
And we got the Tyson Holyfield reference as we go back down here to Vern and Charlie in Santa Clara. and when you talk boxing in Philadelphia, Vern, are you going to hit the Rocky steps when you get in?
If I run to the top of the steps, will there be oxygen waiting for me at the top of the steps? If you can guarantee me that, then maybe I can kind of give it a go. Though I do need to work some of this stuff off. Speaking of working off, there's going to be some cheesesteak selections all over Philadelphia. And speaking of Philadelphia, we got a local kid on the team.
Yeah, it's a homecoming. I was just saying, it's known as the city of brotherly love, but there's not going to be much love shown to the 49ers, except for maybe one player, Mike McGlinchey. Said he'll have about 100 fans in attendance that will be cheering for McGlinchey. They may have the old Brady Quinn split jerseys on, you know. But Mike McGlinchey on heading back home.
If we search the web, is there an old MySpace page or something of young Mike McGlinchey in an Eagles jersey?
No, probably not, because funny enough, my family switched from being Eagles fans a long time ago when my cousin Matt got drafted. So we were Atlanta Falcons fans up until the point that I got drafted here. And so no, there is no Facebook, MySpace, any existence of me wearing an Eagles gear. You'd have to go all the way back to 2004, which I don't think those things existed back then.
How about the fandom of the Philly cheesesteak? Is it just kind of cliche for everyone to talk about the cheesesteaks, or is it actually a diehard food there?
I mean, it is. It's definitely diehard food there, but you just call it a cheesesteak. You don't need to put the Philly on it because you're obviously there. Yeah, it's corner stores and restaurants all throughout Philly, and always competing for which one's the best. My personal favorite is D'Alessandro's. I went to high school about a block or two away from there, so we would sneak out and try and grab lunch every once in a while at D'Alessandro's, and that's my favorite. Obviously, other people will debate that through and through, but yeah, it's a real deal down there.
I've heard good things about the pork roll. What is the pork roll?
That's even better. So pork roll is it's a breakfast meat of some sort. That it's kind of like depending on which one you get, but my family got these 6-pound logs of pork roll from the Trenton Taylor Ham Company, and it's just a different type of breakfast meat that you make sandwiches with. You just like slice it off the roll and cook it up.
Mike should probably wait to have his cheesesteak after the 49ers win and secure a spot in the Super Bowl, because there's a really tough pass rush coming from the Philadelphia Eagles. So maybe stick with the kale and eggs, Mike. You know, something that'll let you be light on your feet, because he's going to have an attack coming, a buzzsaw from that Eagles defense.
Mike and the offensive front, they're going to have to open holes so the running backs can eat, and that's going to be tough. Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Darius Slade coming in on a blitz. I mean, this is a rock-solid defense, and maybe it is like last week where the Niners just keep running, and then by the end of the third, fourth quarter, then maybe they start opening holes. But, man, this is going to be a tough out in the Philadelphia Eagles. Anyway, we go from here on the field back to the station. The producers jumping in.
Thought we were going to break down more on cheesesteaks and pork rolls.
All goes to the hips after 30, right, Charlie?
Yeah,
that's what they say. That's what they say. I'm experiencing it a little bit. Hopefully the camera's panned up here up.
And I learned the hard way last week. It does add 10 pounds.
Yeah, looking kind of swollen, that polo, man. All right, I think on that note, that note, we'll leave you to it.
There's an out cue. All right, now we're going to talk about the 49ers defense against that explosive Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts put to rest any questions about that shoulder last week. Sirianni compared him to Michael Jordan, for his importance to that offense. What is the key to the 49ers slowing him down?
Well, first, I'd slow down with the Michael Jordan comparisons before he wins, one championship, maybe.
He's got a playoff win now under his belt, though.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. You beat the Giants for the third time this year.
Yeah.
Big Blue is back, as we joked on Sunday in the sports department. But I think the best defense for the 49ers in this game is effective offense, controlling that time of possession, keeping the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, because we know he's had an MVP-type season. You can see the type of scrutiny that they gave Dak Prescott in the last game. A lot of pressure put on quarterbacks. The 49ers have the best defense in the league for a reason, but their weakness has seemed to be in the pass game. Can the secondary step up with these elite receiving options that the Eagles have? You talk about Devontae Smith, the connection that he has from Alabama with Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert, an elite tight end. They're going to have to watch for that up the middle. Watch for Fred Warner to have to pick up some of those coverages with Dallas Goedert. Yeah. And then A.J. Brown, quiet against the Giants, but we know he can be an explosive threat. And if you look at the number one options in the past two games in the playoffs, DK Metcalf had a great game in the wild card round, and then CeeDee Lamb had an excellent game last week in the divisional round. It seemed like there were no other receivers out there, but I think the Eagles are going to spread the ball a little bit more. It's going to be up to the secondary to keep the pass game in check.
Yeah, and then the run game, Philly really got it going against the Giants. I mean, granted, it's the Giants, the Niner defense, a lot more stout up front. But what is the key there to slowing down that two-headed monster in the backfield? Plus Hurts. One of the main questions today was how do they keep him contained? They struggled with the running quarterback in Atlanta earlier this season in Mariota. What's the key there to slowing down that Eagles attack with those maulers up front? They do more than sing Christmas carols. They also open up gigantic holes up front.
Shout out Jason Kelsey, his brother Travis Kelsey playing in the AFC Championship game. This is probably the most exciting matchup of this game, and I think it'll ultimately tell who wins this game. And it's not just a two-headed monster, it's a four-headed monster. You look at who had the most yards against the Giants, it was Kenneth Gainwell with some late, dagger-type runs. He scored a big one late, 12 carries for 112 yards. Of course, Miles Sanders is there. He's their lead back, 17 carries, 90 yards last week. And then you got Boston Scott as more of a scat back to get involved in the receiving game. He's a little bit slippery, can give you a little bit of an alternate look to a Sanders and Gainwell. And you already mentioned Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be up to this D-line to contain. They got to keep the pass in check, but just do what you've done all season. The 49ers have been the best defense all year. They've been the best run defense all season.
Do your job.
Do your job. Bill Belichick, there's a reason he has so many rings.
Yes. Well, I think we've tackled this from every possible angle. The only thing left to do is make our picks. But we'll do that and go back to Vern and Charlie. Hit the break, Max.
Conference championship matchups, 49ers Eagles will be the first game on Sunday, followed by a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. The Bengals in Arrowhead Stadium taking on the Chiefs. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, two of the best in the game right now. And it's hard to imagine there's a team hotter than the Bengals, at least in the AFC. The 49ers might be the hot team in the NFC. But let's start with the AFC, Brian Day. Who you got in this game?
I'm going to go with the Bengals. Just think Burrow's riding high. They're hot. Mahomes has the ankle, too big of a concern. So I'm going to go with the Bengals getting back to the Super Bowl.
A lot of people agree with you. The line for this game opened up.
I have a feeling you're not going to be one of them.
Not so fast, my friend. We can't say it on the stream, but the masses are fill in the blank when you talk about gambling lines. It rhymes with masses. The masses are blank. But this line opened up at 2.5 for the Chiefs. Chiefs were favored by 2.5. The line has since moved to Bengals. I think it went up to 2 at one point, back down to 1, but it feels like an overcorrection. Nobody expected Joe Burrow and the Bengals to go up to Buffalo and win that game, but Buffalo didn't have the pass rush to take advantage of the injuries on the Bengals' offensive line. You know who does have the pass rush? The Chiefs. And I know there's a lot of concern about Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Will he play? Won't he play? Look, he's the best in the game. They're going to find a way to get him out there. He's going to play. And even if he can't move, I still trust just his upper body to win a game. So give me the Chiefs in Arrowhead. AFC's gone through Arrowhead 5 years in a row. Doesn't stop this year. Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl.
Well, either way, I feel great about a Super Bowl rematch. It's either going to be the Niners against the Chiefs or the Niners and the Bengals for the third time in the Super Bowl. I'm going Niners in the NFC title game. 17-11 last year in Philly. Will we see a higher scoring game this year?
I think it's going to be a rock fight. I think I respect both of these defenses too much. I don't expect Brock Purdy to go out there and throw for 4 touchdowns like he did against Seattle at home a couple weeks ago. But I also think the 49ers defense keeps the Eagles in check just enough to win the turnover battle, and the 49ers go back to the Super Bowl to take on the Chiefs once again in another rematch.
Well, that's the undercard for the picks. Now let's get to the main event. Let's get back to Vern and Charlie. Let's get back to Vern and Charlie for their hot takes. Now, Vern, you should probably go first since Charlie's choice cuts. You know, that's our bell cow. He gets to take it home. So, Vern, hit it.
All right. Hey, we'll go AFC first, and I'm going Cincinnati Bengals. I'm on the Joe Burrow train. This guy, he's just not afraid of anybody. I mean, he's just going to go in there, no fear, put that team on his back and say, boys, let's go. Jamar Chase, all those weapons. I think they get there and get it done, and I do have concerns about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So that's how I feel about the Cincinnati Bengals. What say you?
I think the game's already over. Cincinnati's won this. You could clip it off, send it to CBS National. I don't care. Cincinnati is coming into this game the cockiest bunch in the entire NFL. You see these guys talking on Twitter. They know it's happening. Joe Burrow, 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes, always finds a way to get it done. And I don't know if you guys remembered, but playing basketball in rec league a few months back, I sprained my ankle. It felt great at first. I was walking around the station for our March Madness show. Then the next day, it kept swelling up and getting worse. Patrick Mahomes is not going to have the mobility that he normally has. The Bengals are hot. They're on a mission. I'm thinking the 49ers, Bengals in the Super Bowl, a little rematch.
Okay, hey, and I'll go with, well, the Eagles are going to chase. They're going to hound. Brock Purdy's going to run around. But eventually, the 49ers seem to figure it out. The 49ers are coach-driven. The Eagles are quarterback-driven. And I think in the end, by the time you get to the third and fourth quarter, I think the 49ers run game will come through. Well, I'm going 49ers in that one.
I agree. Battle of attrition. The team that runs the ball better is probably going to win. With that being said, Brock Purdy can't make any rookie mistakes, but why would he at this point? He hasn't yet, and he's played some tough defenses.
And I'm hearing from the airport control tower, it is time to land this plane. Time to land the Red and Gold streaming show. That'll do it. For Brian, for Justin, for Chuck, and myself, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the game.